All right, we're going to get started so we can bring in our guest. So, everyone who's just joining in, welcome to Testimony Tuesdays. I am your host, Dr. Beauty Daily, and I started this live series to highlight the testimonies of people who I've been meeting online and offline. They're doing some amazing things, both with their businesses, in their personal lives, overcoming personal struggles. And I think during a time like this with the pandemic, it's really nice to hear about a positive story, even though every story is not just a straight road. But hearing someone else being able to overcome those challenges kind of gives you that inspiration to overcome your own challenges. So everyone who's come into this room so far has been an inspiration to me, and I think that there are many more of you out there who would like to be on the show. So if you would like to be a guest on Testimony Tuesdays, please send me a DM and we'll set up an interview. So our guest for the evening is Mr. Alonzo Honeysboydesserts, and I'm going to read his introduction and then we're going to get started. So after the recession of 2008, Alonzo turned his hobby of baking desserts for his friends and real estate clients into a business. Honeysboydesserts has created many notable highs for Alonzo over the years, including winning all the top prizes in the first cupcake competition he ever entered. Alonzo's business had a contract to supply the Hilton Arlington, and he also trained with Buddy the Cake Boss, Valastro, and provided the 25th anniversary cake for Bone Thugs-n-Harmony on stage at the House of Blues Dallas, to name a few. In 2019, he joined forces with Fort Worth Shop with a COP to take more than 120 low-income children shopping for Christmas. So how awesome is that? So without further ado, I am going to bring in Mr. Alonzo, aka Honeysboydesserts. Applause emojis in the comments. Welcome.
Hey there.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing
It's
well,
good to
thanks.
see you.
Good to see you too. Oh, I love this bright smile.
I can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, your track record is impeccable from what we've seen. Everyone's really impressed in the comments. So,
Oh, well. You know what? I don't know. I like to work hard. When you were reading that, I'm like, who did all those things? I didn't do that.
that's very humble of you to say, but we're definitely making this evening all about you and everything that you've accomplished, as well as just finding out what inspired you to do all that you did and are still doing. So it's wonderful to have you here this evening with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And it doesn't feel like I accomplished a whole lot of things. In fact, everything happens so fast, you're not really thinking of what you're accomplishing.
Right.
And I've been blessed to have really cool people around me that help out a lot.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people can say that, especially at a time like this, that having a support system is very helpful during these times.
It is.
Yes. So I don't know if you knew, but every guest that comes on here gets a surprise warm-up question, so to speak,
Okay.
before we get started. Not anything crazy, but
Okay.
just get to know a little more about you. So if you could travel to one place, assuming all restrictions are gone in terms of the pandemic, where would you go and why?
Oh, that's easy because before the pandemic, Rich and I were planning our fantasy trip, our like big goal trip to Tokyo, and we were going to tour Japan. And so we like to travel, and we've been blessed in the last few years enough to travel a lot. So we try to take at least, it sounds crazy, 6 vacations a year because we work 2 months and then we take a vacation, some big vacations, some small. So Japan was this year's vacation, and we were still set to go until I was furloughed from my job back in March because of the pandemic. And then everything was canceled. So we couldn't leave the country. So Japan would be the #1 choice.
That's awesome. I've always actually wanted to go to Japan because they just have so many great sights to see, and I feel like you can also hop around different parts of Asia too while you're there.
Uh-huh. Yep. And that was the plan. Once we got there, we knew we could go other places because it's really central in Asia. So
Right. Well, hopefully that trip will happen sooner than later.
I hope so. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, yes. So, could you just tell us a little bit about how you got started your business and what it's called?
So it's the craziest things, and things kind of happen and they fall into your plate and you never know. But I always baked because my mother baked, and the company is named Honeysboydesserts because my mom's nickname was Honey. And whenever we traveled and we'd go see family, they'd say, "Whose boy are you?" That's Honey's boy.
Honey's boy.
So we came up with Honeysboydesserts as a way to honor my mom. And so I always baked. And I just thought, whenever I want something sweet, I baked it for myself. So one of the questions you asked me earlier on the list of questions you gave me was like, how did it all happen? Well, I didn't know that my desserts weren't ready to sell. Like some people, they can look at their desserts and they're comparing it to others. I never knew that. I just was completely naive. I thought they taste good and they look good enough. Yeah. So, I was just ready to give them away. So I have been selling here and there, but not really knowing pricing or what I was doing or how I was going to make money. And really, I wasn't making any money like most people do. And I was really just giving them away to my real estate clients because I sold real estate, and I gave them as closing gifts, bread and cakes, but usually just like a little mini cake. And one of my customers or clients fell in love with the taste of the cake, and she was getting married, so she asked me to do their wedding cake. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can knock that out. Yes, I'm going to go to the #1 culinary arts school in the world, YouTube, and learn how to make a wedding cake. So we got the cake. I stacked it. I knew how many people. I bought a book to determine the number of slices I need to give her and the size of the cake and how to stack it and everything. Well, she got married in the middle of July, or maybe it was late May. Well, anyway, in Texas, it's really humid that time of year and super hot. So I took an order for an all buttercream cake. Well, it's butter.
Oh man.
I didn't charge her I charged her, but not nearly enough for what I provided her, but which was a good thing because it started to rain as we got there. It was humid, and I learned a valuable lesson. You cannot sell buttercream cakes in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
Or spring. So one thing led to another, and I made a horrible mistake. So we delivered the cake. The cake started sliding apart.
Oh man.
As we were delivering the cake. So we we run and get out of there, and they love the cake. She wrote me back a couple of days later. It's like, it was amazing. And I'm like, did you notice the buttercream was sliding off the back of the cake or not? But I don't know. But it led me to believe that I could make a business out of this. So I took a class at Hobby Lobby, and I met a young lady there who was really aggressive about her business, and she was inspiring. She was so good about inspiring me to try a little harder. And she taught me a couple things, and together we learned. Her business grew, my business grew, and we met other people. And from there, I knew that I was going to be able to make a business out of it.
Wow, that's amazing. I think I applaud you for sure, because a lot of people would just be like, okay, I know how to cook. I don't need to learn anything else. But
No.
a step further and perfected your craft.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I would say is there's a lot of people on the market, especially right out when I started this. It was at the height of the Cake Boss thing, and Cake Boss was everywhere, and there was all these cake competitions. It was new, so we were all trying and learning our way. And I met some really good friends. I joined a club with other home bakers just to try to learn more about the business. And then from there, I learned the business behind the scenes, how to make the business run, how to promote your business, and, invest in yourself.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something valuable too, especially when you were talking about the logistics of it all, certain cakes being suitable for certain types of weather and things like that.
Hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
people wouldn't really think about that or wouldn't have the opportunity to know that unless with trial and error.
Right, right. And I mean, I made some mistakes along the way. I had a birthday cake that was just awful for a Tickle Me Elmo cake, and it was perfect. It sat perfect. The moment we got it in the car to deliver it, the head rolled off in the
Oh
car.
my God.
So there was red buttercream everywhere. And you know what? It was a learning lesson. I felt horrible. I ended up having to refund the money, but it told me I wasn't there yet to take on such a big project. And I needed to go back and sharpen my skills, which I did. And then later on was able to produce a cake that was incredible. And the head didn't fall off.
So what are some of the things that you learned in that class that you took that you feel bettered your business to what it is today?
I learned pricing.
Mm.
And I learned one of the biggest lessons is to believe in yourself. Um, we all think that we know how to do something, but we don't know how to monetize it.
Mm.
And a lot of times people, when it comes to talking about money, they get really uncomfortable. I don't, because the bottom line is I'm working for you and I need to get paid for that work.
Yes.
If you didn't, if I weren't able to do this or provide this for you, I wouldn't charge you. I would give it to you. And you came to me because you knew that I know how to do what you need me to do. And I also know how to say, no, I don't know how to do that, and point you to someone who does. Um, but have confidence in yourself, and also just know your value. A lot of home bakers don't know their own value. They should take classes. You can read things, talk to other people who are already doing it in the business. And there's shows all over the country. Well, when there's not a pandemic, there's cake shows all over the country and all over the world that you can learn online.
Right. No, that's definitely true. And I think a lot of people, especially when you're a new business, get into habit of saying, hey, I knew you back in high school. Like, how about letting this one be on the house? But
No.
your work is top notch. No, I need those points.
Exactly. Right. I mean, I always think about it like, I'm not going to ask you to give me. I mean, in the beginning, I had people who wanted to barter, and bartering is fine. However, it takes X number of hours to complete the project you want from me. And it might be something very simple for you to provide me one thing, and I need to weigh out what the value of those, if it's a fair exchange
Right.
or not. And
Definitely.
otherwise, always ask for your money up front. Tell people how much things cost. There should be no surprises. And one big thing for people in the cake industry or any industry, have a contract.
Mm, mm.
And you can find cake contracts all over the internet. Or contact me, I'll send you one.
Right. That's really good advice. And I think, like you said, with any industry, you need a contract because there can be unexpected occurrences where someone's like changing the terms of, agreement, and you can pull out that contract and be like, actually, online, whatever, you agree to this. So
Exactly. Right, right. Yep.
great, great. And I think some people might be curious about how do you make a buttercream cake last in that heat? Because we can't just not have buttercream when it's hot.
No, you can have
So
buttercream,
how
but
do you
you
preserve
know, well, the refrigerator.
it? Mhm.
Is to start with. I bake for cake orders that are due on Friday. I start baking on Tuesday and Wednesday so that everything is ice cold so I can work with a cold product.
Right.
Then when I deliver the cake to you, it can last longer because we can set it out, let it get room temperature. Then buttercream doesn't slide off the cake. It just needs to leave your kitchen frozen, or not frozen, but ice cold, and be prepared for the transport. And then typically it will remain cool or not lose its shape or anything for at least an hour or two.
Right.
Hmm.
That's great. That's good advice because I'm sure we don't want to have any more Elmo heads rolling off. And now people know what not
Right.
to
And
do.
in that case, you're going to need some construction. The inside of the cake is going to have some pillars or something built into it, or dowel rods or something to keep it in place.
Right. Wow, that's really amazing. And I know that you have a team that works with you, because I know that this can be a very laboring task to transport cakes to different places, or how does it work for your business?
Nope. It's Rich and I, the Cake Pop Whisperer. That's the team. Honey Boys Desserts is
Yeah.
Alonzo and Rich. That's our team. And then occasionally we had to call in backup for helping move things when it's larger projects. I have some friends that are in the real estate industry, and they order a huge order of desserts for me every year. And that's usually like 250 sweet potato breads or sweet potato pies. And that kind of thing, I need more. I might need a bigger truck or a larger van to move around.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
But generally, it's us.
Yeah, the dynamic duo.
Right.
And does Rich have his cake pops available too with your business?
He does. So his cake pops are basic. They're Honey Boys Desserts cake and buttercream combined together. I bake, he combines them, and then he dips everything in Ghirardelli chocolate.
That sounds good.
So, yeah.
Nice. Well, I think I'm gonna have to put in an order after this.
Yeah,
We'll talk.
we'll ship it to you. Yeah,
Get
we can ship. Now that it's cool weather, we can ship. In the summertime, we got requests for, and I get them all the time in the summertime to ship. I can't because quality control is out of the question with the heat, and especially this year with everything that's gone on
right.
and the postal system. I took an order too late in the season, and it was supposed to take 2 days to get there, and it took 10.
Oh
So,
no.
yeah. So and that was completely unusual.
Yeah. I know that's another thing I was gonna ask too, with the pandemic and how it's affected your business, because I know, especially with shipping, a lot of things have been delayed. So how have you kind of navigated around that issue?
The pandemic changed everything. So prior to the pandemic, we were really booked with specialty cakes, the larger cakes for events, and we had our books were pretty much done. I don't do as much as I did in the past because I wanted to slow down a little bit so we can enjoy life and take a few more vacations. But we pretty much lost everything that we had to cancel for bigger parties because people will want cakes that serve 50 or 60 or 70 or larger, and they couldn't come together because of the restrictions.
Right.
So a lot of business was canceled. What we did is I rewrote my business plan to center it around smaller cakes. So cakes that serve 10 to 20 as opposed to the larger cakes that do 50 or larger.
Right.
That was one of the biggest things, and that's what I would recommend to anybody in any business is always look for a way to reinvent or just be able to pivot quickly. The first 2 months of the pandemic, we canceled all of our orders that we had and did refunds. The other ones for later in the year were canceled, but I just didn't want to run the risk if I had COVID of giving it to someone or having someone pick up an order from me and bringing it into our house.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a great point about adaptability with a business, because things happen unexpectedly, like the pandemic or recessions, or and you just have to stay ready and be willing to kind of change your business plan like you did and make it a little bit more scaled back so that it fits in with what's going on. So I think that was a really smart idea.
Right. So, and then in that, we redesigned the website too. So previously, because we did only custom cakes, I like talking to customers. I like to have the conversation. I'd like to sit down and schedule a tasting appointment with them and help design the cake together. Now, redesigning the website allows us to allow our customers to place an order online, pay for the whole thing online, just choose from a list of cakes that we already have. And if they want to do something more custom, then we can arrange appointments so we can do so safely.
Okay. And is that for people who are local to you or open to anyone?
Local, yeah, local, more local, because the cakes that I'm going to be able to ship to you, we ship in, if you were on the family room, you could see the one we did for Kathy.
Right.
And it came in a cake tin, and then that way it ships really good. They just take the cake out of the tin, and you can still serve it on a nice plate.
Oh, perfect.
Hmm.
No, that is awesome. So I know you catered for some weddings and birthdays, but you also got the chance to provide the 25th anniversary cake for a really amazing group. Can you tell us a little
Yeah,
bit about that?
that was amazing. I cannot take any other credit for that happening. One of my friends who she knew that I love Bone Thugs and Harmony, so the opportunity was really hers to do, but she dragged me along with her. And I say, drag me. I was running in front of her going, oh my God, yes, I want to do that. So we got to go backstage and we sat in the green room with all of their followers and then stayed out of sight. Well, actually, they didn't know us anyway, so we could have stood right next to them. But we went backstage while they were performing, and in the middle of the show, they brought us out on stage, and we delivered a cake. And they were so gracious and so humble. It was amazing. And I mean, we felt like celebrities that night ourselves because it was just amazing. One of the best things ever. But I can't take any credit for that happening. My friend, I was invited along.
That is really awesome. And what kind of cake was it? What flavor?
It was marble cake with red buttercream, with red buttercream. It was probably, well, I think it was 3 tiers, and we're balancing it, and they're still wrapping, and then they just stop and come right up, rushing over to us and hugging us, and it had sparklers everywhere. It was amazing. It was a fun cake.
That is definitely something that, is unmatched in terms
Oh,
of experience.
I'm telling you, to this day, it was one of the best things ever. I cannot imagine. I can't believe it happened.
That is awesome. And I know they loved it. Marble cake is amazing.
Oh yeah, they were just in heaven.
Yes. And you also talked about the cake boss experience too.
So yeah, you can pay. He toured a long time. He did shows where he came and toured and he taught classes. So you could sign up for the class, and I signed up to take the class. It was a great experience. He just delivers so much more information, and at the end of the class we were able to take a picture with them and have them autograph our books. And it was really a fun experience.
That's awesome.
Very, very, very wise. Yeah, he knows a lot about the business, and he was eager to share it.
I looked. I think I watched his show. Wasn't it on one of the travel channels?
Yeah, I think it's on Lifetime or I don't know, TBS or one of those.
Yeah, yeah. It was like some type
Mhm.
of competition show. That's really cool. Did he?
Yeah.
What were some of the words of wisdom that he passed along?
Well, it's been a couple years. He talked about making sure that you always learn your craft. That was one of the big things. Don't take an order that you don't know how to do. And he was encouraging that believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. And that's what stuck with me, is to make sure that you believe in yourself.
Yes, I totally agree with that because especially when you are a new business, you have to have that confidence come from within. And
Right.
once you have that confidence shining through, the customers will be even more confident in your craft. So
Hmm.
that's really words of wisdom that he gave.
Right. It was, I mean, it was very valuable, and I'd do it again. I know he's having some medical problems. He hurt his hand or something,
Oh no.
so it'll be interesting to see how he comes back and what if he goes back on tour.
Yeah, I know that's unfortunate because I know a lot of people love learning from the greats like him and even
Hmm.
Gordon Ramsay and all of those people. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
when you watch shows like MasterChef and you see people doing the desserts, do you have like that critique hat on?
Sometimes, I mean, I do. Sometimes, I have been approached by the Food Network to audition, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. A couple people that I know have been on the show, and it was very challenging. I'm not sure that I would be up for that. But
You would do
it's,
great.
I'm sure I would. I just don't know if I want to. It's a lot. They're like 14-hour days, and yeah, it's an interesting process.
You know, you do have a point because on TV, when we see it, it looks very abbreviated, but I'm sure it's hours and hours of filming and
It
editing, all
is.
that. Yeah.
And a lot of back and forth. I mean, you're pretty prepped about what's going to happen before you get there. So I'm not sure if I want to do that, but one day maybe.
Yeah. Now, if you do, don't forget about the little people.
Oh no, I won't.
But yeah, I think that you would do great on there just because everyone has seen the cakes on the family room and elsewhere, and everyone is starving, wanting these desserts. So they look amazing.
Oh, thank you, thank you. They taste really good too.
I have no doubt about that.
That's the only time I brag about anything is they really do taste good.
That's awesome. And so, out of all the cakes that you make, what is your favorite one to make?
Well, they changed. My favorite one to make for a while was cream cheese butter pecan, which is a butter pecan cake with the icing that's made with butter pecans, and it tastes like butter pecan ice cream on top of it. And when Rich and I got married 4 years ago, and I made that cake for our wedding cake. So yeah, so I made our own wedding cake. So we had the cream cheese butter pecan and Oreo cookies and cream cake. Those are two of my favorites.
You're killing me right now. I love Oreos.
It's good stuff too. It's amazing. It's chocolate cake with Oreo cookies and cream filling between it. It's amazing.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm sure everyone enjoyed too.
Oh yeah, they were pretty happy.
So how about for family events? I'm sure you probably have a tall order too when it comes to making desserts for those.
Not in my family.
Not
Everybody
really?
bakes in my family.
Oh,
So yeah, everybody bakes in my family. So when we were closer to the family, living closer to the family, it was always like a competition of who was going to bring the best. So
yeah.
it's good stuff. But with my friends, I bake for my friends a lot.
Okay. So yeah, in the family, it's just like everyone can
Yeah,
do
they
that.
all bake.
But
They all bake.
oh man. And so you also have done some charity work too when it came to getting involved with community and
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been really blessed. And we went through some hard times like everybody else in the past, especially after the recession. And I had to get out of selling real estate. And really, the cake business kept us afloat for a while. 100% of all of my efforts went to baking for months. So, oh shoot, I forgot your question because I went down another
oh, the
path.
community service.
Oh, community service. So what I always wanted to do was make sure that I give back because I was raised that way. And so, my mom and dad always taught us to give back to your community no matter where you are. Make sure that you give back. So my friends Felicia and her husband Patrick has a nonprofit organization. He also does sporting events with the children in the community. So for the last few years, they had started an event called Shop with the Cop, where they would take a certain number of children shopping, and they gave a big party, and they raised the funds from this party to take children shopping from his group. Well, first year they took like 50 kids shopping. And then the next year they were able to take 75 and so on. And so sitting down talking with them, and Rich and I having such a good 2019 and a great 2018, we decided that we need to make sure that we continue to give back like we always did. The cupcake competition that I won all of the top events was actually a charity event that we wanted to take part in. So that was one of the things that we did, and we did that for a couple years. But when the Shop with the Cop opportunity came along, we were just like, I reached out to them and said, you guys do it every other year. I want to pick up on the years when you aren't doing it. And so what we did is had a fundraising party in the afternoon, on a Saturday afternoon, a noontime party, which is kind of unusual. And we sponsored everything there. And then we had silent auction and we sold tickets. The money from the silent auction and the tickets, along with Rich and I's donations, we were able to take, the number is, I think, 125 kids shopping
Wow.
at Walmart. Walmart then gives the children who come in, they have a special area for them to go and ring up, and they get a 20 or 30% discount off of everything they buy. So it's really fun. So we got to take all these kids. It was really a good time for us because we transferred all the money from cash into gift cards. So we felt like Santa Claus
Oh,
giving out the gift cards. Oh, it was, oh, you should have seen it. They were just, and then they come back and they have bikes and they, you know, new toys and everything they wanted for Christmas. Then at the end of it, the organization uses the other donated funds and they take everybody back so the kids can wrap their gifts,
oh,
which
awesome.
was really fun. Yeah, so it was a good time. A
That's
good time. We're looking forward to doing it again this year.
great. That's beautiful. I think it's going to make even more of an impact this year because
I think so too.
so many people lost their jobs, and I can only imagine what parents are going through now, trying to think
Yeah.
of what to get for their kids, trying to get
Hmm.
food on the table. And I know there's
Yeah.
kids out there too who are using some of that to get their parents gifts too, or their siblings gifts.
Yeah, that was one of the things they warned me about. They were like, we have to tell the kids not to focus on themselves and
Oh,
not try to take care of their, because some of the kids were like, I'm buying this for my mom and my sister, and they set aside whatever money they have to get very little for themselves and something else for everybody else in their family. So that was rewarding to just see them, how excited they were they could buy something.
yeah. That is really touching. And also, I applaud you and Rich for doing that because the joy of a child is just something that cannot be matched, especially
Yeah.
around Christmas time. Like, it's tough. It's tough. And I love seeing drives like that. And it's good that you also had that window of opportunity because you're picking up on that year that the cops weren't able to pitch
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
So that's
So the way that it works though is it's really a community outreach so that the children can not be afraid of the police and the police won't be afraid of the children.
mm,
So, and that was one of the things that why we were so interested in joining. I can't leave that part out. Patrick and Felicia do an amazing job at what they do, but Patrick is able to take this group of cops. In fact, the chief of police of Fort Worth came, and pretty much everybody and all the top cops. And then they actually walk with the children through Walmart, helping them shop. So they get to know they pick up a certain group of kids. They get to know the children, and the kids get to know the cops. So you're not afraid of the cops. So, especially in the climate that we're in right now, where
yeah.
the more they know about us, the better. And the more we know about them, better, because they're not all bad people.
Right. It's a very humanizing experience, I think, on both sides
Hmm. Yeah, it
because,
was. It's good. It really is one of the best charity events I've ever heard of.
wow. Well, props to you. And let us know if there's any way that we can contribute to that too, because I'm sure
Oh, I
this,
will.
please, please, I would love to get involved with that.
I will, because they're getting ramped up right now, and I wish Felicia was on here listening. And I invited her, but she's pretty busy, so she could give us more information. But I will make sure that I share everything with everybody and put it on Instagram.
Oh, perfect. And looks like you got a question. Let's see. So, who takes the gold medal in your family bake-off?
My mom did. My mom passed away a few years ago, but she did. She won, and she won with like an old-fashioned cake called the jelly cake, which is basically just a yellow cake covered in apple jelly. And for people from like Alabama and Tennessee, that's like a big staple. So that was her prize-winning cake. I think I might be able to take her now.
Oh,
I think I could take her on some things now.
yeah, it's seems as though this is also an opportunity for you to remember your mom because of the way that she taught you everything she knew when it came to
Yeah.
baking. So it's really beautiful to hear.
It is. It's a way it's a way. And one of the things that she said before she passed away was like, okay, I shared with you what I know. Now it's time for you to build upon that. So you have a nice base, but you can't rest on old-fashioned recipes. So I try to take it to another level.
Oh, that's great. Well, my condolences to you, and
Oh,
I'm
thank
happy that you are keeping your word to her and
you. Right.
continuing to bake and be innovative, because I think that's what every parent wants for their child, is to build upon what they've taught them, and it seems
Yeah,
like you're doing that full force.
I'm trying.
Yes, you're
Some
doing.
days are easier than others. Some days I'm like, I don't want to bake. And I don't want to manage this business. And I don't want to push a little harder. But then the next day I'm like, you got to push a little harder, right? Plus, I have Rich, and he's my number one encourager. And if I sit for a second and go, I don't want to do this, he goes, so what about, have you tried? Have you done this? Have you done that? So I think it's helpful for people to have someone in their corner.
It is, it is. And speaking of Rich, is he in the neighborhood? Because everyone's asking about him in the comments.
He's shy, but he's here.
He's here. Okay, well, hi, Rich.
He's gonna come around. He's got on his grumpy Gus face because he's shy. But the moment if you make him start talking, he won't stop. There he is.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're
Listening.
You have a fan club in here because everyone's been asking about you. Comments. I'm like, where's Rich?
I know I love everybody in the family room and CQ.
Yes, CQ fam is strong. And
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about your cake pops, because we're going to be putting in some orders for the cake and the cake pops, and we need a little bit more details.
Well, they're good.
No doubt.
They're good.
They're delicious.
Okay. They're delicious.
I'm just gonna have you. I'll send you some, and you can sample them, and then you can tell everybody how good they are.
Yes, I will. I'll put my deliberation hat on and let you know.
They're good. They're made from scratch. They're made with the fun. See, I can do that part. And they're made with the finest ingredients, and they include Honeysboydesserts cake. So it's a great way to taste the cake. And they're sold by the dozen. And when we ship them, we ship a minimum of 2 dozen, just because a lot of people pick them up and then they eat a dozen in the car before they get where they're going.
Oh man!
I know everybody. You guys tried cake pops before, right? I mean, they're not nothing. They're not anything new.
Everybody hasn't tasted cake pop.
Really? Oh.
Well,
I think I might have had one before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what they are, they're crumbled up cake. You crumble up into little crumbs, and then you add buttercream into it, and you mix them up until you get the consistency of a Play-Doh. And you form it into a ball, put it on a stick, and then you dip it in chocolate, and then you decorate it.
it's not like Play-Doh because it's not gummy, but they're delicious.
I'll take your word for it. But actually, I won't take your word for it because I need to try it first. So
I'll send you some facts.
my way. It looks like you have another question. Let's see.
Okay.
Who's asking? All right. So where are you located?
We're located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're in Mansfield, Texas, so outside of DFW, between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Oh, awesome. I think I told you guys I'm originally from Texas.
Are you? What
Right?
part of Texas?
Austin, specifically Pflugerville.
Oh, okay. I know Pflugerville.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So maybe I might have to make that down. You never heard of Pflugerville? Well, you're from Cali, right?
Sorry?
You're originally from Cali?
Yeah.
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 Pflugerville is one of those small towns outside of Austin.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's kind of like how I'm in Philly, but not really. So
Right.
that's the thing with
Okay.
Austin and
Oh.
Pflugerville. We kind of like play in that surrounding area.
Oh, Cindy's from San Antonio.
Yeah, see, we're from Dallas, but it's 33 miles away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Texas is big.
It's big, yeah.
You guys got another question. Who is your favorite, Drew or Chip?
Oh my
Oh
God.
God. You know what?
Neither. No, Chip.
We love y'all equally.
No, I like Chip better.
Ooh, playing favorites. And you have another one. Let's see. Both y'all gonna have me wearing spandex.
Brian's from Detroit.
That's a goal.
Brian's from Detroit.
I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's
Detroit.
right.
From Detroit too.
Yeah, that's a good goal. You know, if it's hard for me, it's got to be hard for everybody else.
Well, you know, we were supposed to be doing our little soup challenge, so if you pair that with the cake every now and then.
Right, yeah. You know, I was looking forward to the soup too.
Yeah. So what happened?
Cake got in the way.
Oh man. You know, and I made the tomato soup and I made a sweet potato soup because I couldn't find pumpkin.
Right.
So it lasted for a little bit, but
How was the sweet potato soup? I love sweet potato soup.
it was really good. It was very thick and
Uh-huh.
very filling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'd be sweet.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not. Is it sweet?
Yeah, it was a little bit sweet compared to the tomato. Tomato had more of that savory taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I love tomato soup. I think I'm gonna go back and try the recipe for the tomato soup.
Yes. Yeah, and souffle is in here too. So everyone, you know, check out
Oh,
her
hey, souffle.
two
Nice
CQ
name.
chefs. Yes. And so when it comes to your future plans for your business, what do you foresee yourself doing in the next 5 to 10
Why don't you leave now?
Huh?
I'm gonna leave now.
He's gonna leave now.
Oh, okay. Bye, Rich. Thanks for hopping in.
You know, I go back and forth with where I see the business growing. I want to make the business, I want to keep it a home-based business. I don't necessarily want a brick and mortar. I thought that was one of my dreams, and then the more I realized the amount of work and yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So I just want to continue to grow the home-based business so that eventually, when I retire from my regular 9 to 5, I can do this 100% of the time, but at the pace that I want to take it.
Right.
And I would love to be able to grow it a little bit larger so that we can bring on someone else to help with cake pops and some of the baking. And then I could do more cake design.
Right. That would be awesome. And how do people find your page in terms of ordering? Do they just go to your Instagram or?
Yeah, you can go. Well, we have the website, and the website is honeyboydesserts.net for now. The new website will be up on Friday, honeyboydesserts.com. I'm going to tie the two together. You'll be able to place orders there. But from here, as of today, you can just shoot me an email through honeyboydesserts.net. It goes right to me. I reply as soon as possible, usually within the same day.
Okay. So that'll be out on Friday then.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Somebody was trying to call me.
Okay.
Place a cake order.
Taking orders. Probably someone from the comments. They couldn't wait.
No, they couldn't wait.
So that will be on Friday, your new website?
The new website will be up on Friday. For some reason, I lost the sound. Let's see.
I think that happens with the calls. I might have to let you back in.
Yeah, I think so.
Can you hear me now?
Let's see.
All right, I'm going to let him back in. Let me see. For those of you just tuning in, this is Testimony Tuesdays with Honeysboydesserts, and we're just talking about desserts galore with our friend Alonzo. So he's coming back in the room now. All right.
All right. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, you know, everyone likes to call during these interviews. I always put my thing do not disturb, but it's just like sometimes I forget.
And I forgot. And I thought one thing I need to do is put it on do not disturb, and I completely forgot. So I apologize.
No problem. You're a popular guy. I mean, people are salivating over these desserts. So, yeah. So and you said that your website's going to be available on Friday, so I'll put it in
Yes.
the post so everyone can see it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And
appreciate that.
oh, I appreciate you being here. You have another question actually too. Can we order a cake for Thanksgiving?
Yes, we are still taking orders for Thanksgiving. And if you're local in Dallas, you can pick up the cake or we can deliver it to you. Um, Shipping, we may have to look into, depending on how far you are away. We may be able to get them out to you, but the postal service has not been great this year, so I don't want to commit and not be able to get it out.
Right. Yeah, I almost forgot about Thanksgiving, believe it or not.
Did you?
Yeah, because I just heard on the news everyone's like, oh, no gatherings greater than 10 or whatever, and that excludes my family because we got way too many people to meet that.
Hmm. Yeah. So are you going to do smaller gatherings instead?
Probably. My mom is already talking about the turkey, so she'll probably do that here.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, we live kind of in the same area, and we usually all come together and rotate houses, but we'll see.
Uh-huh.
We'll see.
Yeah.
How
It's
about
going to
you?
be hard.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, so it's going to be really hard. But luckily, we're going to spend it with a couple friends, and I think it's only going to be 5 of us, so small. And I'm bringing a bunch of desserts for everybody. So
Oh, perfect. Yeah, and I'm wondering how the parade is going to go too, because I heard it was going to be virtual, like the Philadelphia one, but I don't know how
yeah,
it worked out.
how's that going to work?
I don't know. They might have to like, record it, or I could
Right.
imagine doing it like what, Zoom parade.
Yeah, the Zoom parade, or maybe it'll be like the awards shows, and then people
Right.
just come in and go out one end or the other through a warehouse or something.
Yeah, and they'll have pictures of like fake fans, like how the community.
Right.
This
Right.
cannot be the new norm. Like,
No, no, we can't. This cannot be the new norm.
yeah. And then I know you dropped a couple gems for the aspiring business owners as well as the people who want to bake. But any words of advice that you would like to give for people who may have just joined in late, how they can kind of grow their business or get into baking professionally?
I would say look for a group in your area of people who are home bakers like you. You can find groups all over the internet. One of my friends has an organization. She does an annual show. This year it was canceled, but it was supposed to be in Vegas. It's called the Brown Sugar Cake Retreat. And I recommend anyone who is looking for a informative, good time. It's a 3-day event, I believe, that she does, and this would be maybe her 4th or 5th year that she's going to put it on. The event has only grown larger. Follow her or look for Brown Sugar Cake Retreat. That's one thing that I would do. Also, there's tons of other home bakers online, and reach out to them. See what their pricing is. You know, I never shop the other people anymore. I did in the past just to see what people were doing. We travel a lot, so we go to different bakeries just to see what's offered. But start looking at the business that you want to be in. See what's going on out there. Pricing is going to be super important. There's a temptation, especially in the home baking world, for you to undercut the next guy, but there's a reason why you want to make sure that you are charging at least what the other guys are. And they probably figured out how to make money off this business. And take a class. Professionals are teaching these things all the time. Take a class. Follow Ron Ben Israel. He has some great classes that he's doing online a couple times a week. There's books that you can buy that will walk you through it. But more than anything is learn about the craft that you're entering into, because so many people are out there paying for custom made cakes and getting cake mix not made from scratch, not good. So learn your craft.
Yeah.
Learn your
You said
craft, and then stay confident. Don't take no from a person who never could give you a yes in the first place. So just keep trying.
gems.
Hmm.
That is definitely true. I love all of that. And do you foresee yourself going on YouTube or cooking on IGTV at any point?
I think one day I am, and I've been trying to convince Rich to do it for the cake pop part of our business, because he's perfected getting the cake pops perfectly shaped and smooth, and I think we will have some YouTube classes in our future.
I think that would be
Maybe
great.
maybe not YouTube classes, but maybe IG classes.
IG classes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will tune into that, especially around the holidays, so we can get some ideas of recipes and how to try our hand at making
Yeah.
some cake.
And I like to share recipes. So I have a Facebook page too, and it's Honey's Boy Desserts. And on there, I share a lot of recipes. And every once in a while, I'll post little tips about how to run the business.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So I have your page tagged in the pinned comment, but when I post a highlight reel, I'll also put it there as well, so everyone can find it. So
Good.
just when again, the name of the website and where they can place their orders, please.
So honeyboysdesserts.net today. And it's going to eventually go to honeyboysdesserts.com, but honeyboysdesserts.net.
Okay.
And my phone number is there. You can text me. I answer questions. You can send an email through the website. We'll follow up with you.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful. Well, Mr. Alonzo, it's been amazing talking to you tonight, and you shed a lot of wisdom on the business as well as making all of us hungry for your cakes. So I'm sure the orders are going to be pouring in. And
well, thank you.
Yes, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I wish you continued success in your business. I know we're going to hear great things in the coming months and years from you. So much love to
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate you, and much love to you. I appreciate you doing this for everyone. It's a great, great, great thing for you to do, and many blessings.
Oh, thank you so much. So everyone, make sure you follow Honey's Boy Desserts, put in your order, and stay tuned to what's coming next from Mr. Alonzo and Rich, Cake Pop Whisperer.
Thank you.
Okay, so thanks everyone for tuning in, and have a wonderful rest of your week. And I will be posting this on my YouTube channel as soon as it saves on Instagram.
Have a good night.
All right, have a good night.